She instantly regrets divorcing her husband of 30 years. Women hitting the wall. 30 years is a long time, and let's hear what her reasons were.
Where you're ending your relationship with your best friend. And then you're left with nobody. So, I understand the point. He was a good dad. He was a good husband. He just lacked in a very major area. I don't know how to fill this huge gap. I had an active household. Now I don't have that at all, and I just don't know how to replace it. Is how lonely it made me feel for what I have now and what I've lost. So for those women that are in the same situation,
why did she do it then? Because from the sounds of it, he didn't abuse her. He didn't cheat on her. He was a good dad. Maybe not that great of a husband, but you can communicate these things to your partner. Why do you have to... I think there's this craze in the media that if anything's wrong with a guy, leave him and find a better one. The grass is greener on the other side. Go find a better guy because you can do better. You should know your worth, lady, whatever. There's this thing. And I think it's even affecting older women now because they're seeing these videos and they're like, oh, I deserve better. But you don't realize you're a bit too old to be jumping ships just because there are a few minor issues. And these issues, maybe communication issues or a lack of romance or whatever, she can communicate this to him. She can say, look, I feel like this is missing in our relationship and I am thinking of leaving, but I don't want to leave because we've been together for 30 years with my best friend and I really want to make this work. Can you please hear me out? Listen to me. I don't like this. I'd rather you did this every now and then and help me out with this and, gave me a bit of reassurance and, a few romantic things every now and then. You can communicate this. You don't need to just leave. And it sounds like she just left. It's a bit sad, really, because she's clearly regretting it and saying that she feels lonely and there's a void that she can't fill. And the household is split and she can't... look, she's unhappy, so what was the point?
where you're ending the relationship with your best friend after 30 years of a marriage, I sympathize. I understand the pain.
Welcome back, family. Today we are going to review this modern woman who decided to leave her 30-year-old marriage to go back to the streets just to get pumped and dumped. Let's first start by watching her admitting that her ex-husband was actually a great dad and a great husband.
This is a very complicated point, and this is one of the things that I faced that was the hardest for me to make the final decision to leave, is because he's not a bad dad. He was a great dad. My children were blessed with a very good father. And honestly, I had a really good husband. Other than these issues, I understand. But in terms of like sharing parental responsibilities, sharing responsibilities around the house, grocery shopping, cooking, like all of that, he was a good provider. So I think that was I definitely struggled with making my final decision to call it over because he was my best friend. I read my journal on like the day before I got that May 1st letter in 2019. I was happy. We called each other multiple times throughout the day. If I ever have a win of any kind, he would be my first call. I lost all of that. I mean, other than the friends that I also lost, I lost my best friend. And I've not replaced that person. I just don't have anybody to call now if I have a win, which is probably part of this TikTok.
That's so sad.
So I'm sure there's other women out there that have felt the same thing where you're ending your relationship with your best friend. And then you're left with nobody. So I understand the point. He was a good dad. He was a good husband. He just lacked in a very major area.
This is really sad. It sounds like she just wanted maybe more sex and maybe to be with someone who's younger and has more stamina or something. That's what it sounds like to me. Because everything she's saying about him is so positive, and she's calling him her best friend. Like, that doesn't come out of a bad marriage. Like, that means it was a really, really good, strong marriage with good foundations where they respected each other and loved each other deeply and trusted each other. And she's gone and done that to him. That's really, really, really sad. I don't really have much to say. I feel sorry for her because she's made a massive mistake, and I think she's beginning to realize it. And I feel really, really sorry for him because I feel like he was weakened to the point of letting his guard down, and then she just took advantage and decided. I mean, he was probably partly to blame by not being strong enough to, I don't know. It sounds like, from what she's saying, sounds like he was doing a lot of the housework and doing a lot of the wife responsibilities. And so he was weakened because, I don't know, maybe she just saw him as weak. And at that point, when she was beginning to tell him that she sees him as a weak person or a weak man, even if she didn't say it outright, but it sounds like she kind of let him know, he should have stayed strong and shown her that he isn't. And then he probably didn't, and that's, you know, why she left him. But also, she weakened him. She is the one who weakened him. And, you know, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. She made him weak. He was weak, and she broke up with him. Very sad. Someone said, "Hey, what's the story, guys?" So basically, this lady she was in a 30-year marriage with her husband. She says all nice things about him. He was a really good dad. Sounds like he was a really good husband. And then she just divorced him. And she's saying there are a few minor problems. I'm saying that she could have just communicated them with him instead of leaving him, but she left him. And I'm saying it's like a thing of women believing that the grass is greener on the other side and leaving the guy for having a few issues and not being perfect.
Fucking complicated for the person who finally has to call it over. So for those women that are in the same situation where you're ending the relationship with your best friend after 30 years of a marriage, I sympathize. I understand the pain.
What the hell would you end a freaking 30-year-old marriage with a great husband and come to cry on social media for sympathy? If your husband was such a great man, why don't you focus more on the positive side of things and less on the negatives? That is how you can compromise and gradually work on your differences as a couple. This is one of the ways successful couples actually do things. I personally know why she left her 30-year-old marriage, and I will show it to you at the end of the video. But right now, we are going to watch her cry while regretting her decision of leaving her husband when loneliness hits hard.
So I promise that I will always be as honest as possible with all y'all. And I was humming and hawing as to whether I was going to post this.
What is she doing? What is she doing? Why is she recording herself to try and get people to feel sorry for her? And, you know, it's like she wants some kind of reassurance from people that she's done the right thing. You're not going to get that. You've done the wrong thing. You've made a big mistake. You've really, really effed up, and now you're regretting it. And that's why you're coming on social media trying to get people to sympathize with you, because you need some sort of reassurance, and you know you've made a mistake. Why? Oh my goodness, the lack of loyalty these women have nowadays is just unbelievable.
But I know I'm not the only one who has this issue. The unintended consequences that I didn't foresee going to Easter dinner on Sunday is how lonely it made me feel for what I have now and what I've lost. And I spiraled and have been in bed for the last 2.5 days. Total honesty. I actually had a session with my therapist on Thursday, and I had said to her that I just don't know how to replace this chasm of emptiness
You can't.
that I have in my life.
We'll get some cats, maybe. You can't replace a husband, I'm sorry to say. You have effed up so badly. So badly. You are too old to be messing around. You know, even women who are younger shouldn't be doing it, but you are too old. You've had a whole life with this man. 30 years. You're saying he's your best friend. You did not have to leave him. You are not going to find better than that. You're not going to find another best friend to replace him with. You've messed up really, really, really badly. And it's not going to get any better. And now you've done it. It's too late. You can't go back.
And I don't, for all of you that have gone.
Do you know what? Actually, I feel sorry for her because I know she's probably around 55 years old. She's probably going through menopause. And the hormones probably, or the change of hormones, made her want to leave her husband. I have a feeling it's definitely linked to menopause because there are so many women who at this age have the exact same thought process and suddenly realize that, I think it's to do with the fact that they can't have children anymore and they feel like they don't need a man anymore. But it's only a fleeting time. Like it's, menopause doesn't last forever. And then after, when the hormones are chilled, you realize, wait, I've made a big mistake. So for any women who are going through menopause at the moment, ride through it, try and be understanding to your husband, let him know what's going on, communicate about your feelings, but don't just make rash decisions like leaving him or going through a divorce. It's not good. Okay, someone said, made your bed, now you got to lie in it. Yes, indeed. Female therapist, typically, probably, yep. Let's pray for the cats, please, that will deal with single women. Yes, guys, let's take a moment to pray for the cats. Those poor cats have to try and heal these women who are just like unhealable. Someone said, even as a fellow English person, I must admit your accent is outstanding. Thank you. Ridiculously well spoken. Props. Thank you very much. I'll tell my parents. Anyway, let's carry on.
Through this and, started again later in life, especially in a brand new city. I don't know how to fill.
Midlife crisis. That's what that's called. Menopause and midlife crisis. Really sad. She's literally tried to restart her life. I think she's realizing she's getting older now, and she tried to divorce her husband, or she has divorced her husband, and she's trying to move to a new city and live a new life, start again. Hun, you're too old. It's not going to happen. You're not going to meet this model guy that will, be perfect in every way, that will change your life and make you happy and fulfill every single tick box you have. It's not going to work. You're not going to do it. It's impossible. Nobody's perfect. You should have just stuck with your husband, who is clearly a good husband, as you said yourself, and communicated your issues with him. Not just jump ship. It's really sad. You shouldn't have done that. You're regretting it. You're going to probably regret that forever. And unfortunately, you can't go back now because a divorce is a divorce.
This huge gap.
Oh my goodness.
And, I had an active household. And now I don't have that at all. And I just don't know how to replace it. So If anybody has any ideas, let me know. I would love to hear how you did it.
I can see there's a ring light in her eyes. A ring light reflection. This is so sad. This is like beyond sad. She's literally divorced her husband, who is her best friend, and she's sat in her room in a new city, trying to be young again and find someone else, recording herself with a ring light to post on TikTok to get people to sympathize with her decision. So she gets some reassurance. How sad is that? That's actually painful. And I feel sorry for her, but at the same time, I'm like looking at her like she's crazy. But I guess that's what menopause does to you. It makes you a bit crazy. That's what I've heard anyway. Not looking forward to that. But there are ways of healing it, guys. There are ways of sort of, not healing it, but there are ways of minimizing the effect of the hormones going through your body, making you feel rage and make silly decisions. Things like evening primrose oil, starflower oil helps as well, I've heard. There are other remedies as well that you can look up. Don't take medication, guys. It's not good. Don't take medication. Go with the natural remedies, because there are so many medications that God has given us naturally that we should be using. I agree with you, Nazra, and that's why when I'm a husband and a dad one day, I will be open to anything that my future wife has to say. I want to be a patient, loving husband and a father to my family. Exactly. As a leader, you need to listen to the feedback of the individuals in your household. That's what every good manager does. Every good manager will listen to the feedback of their employees in order to change things, improve things, and it makes the workplace run better. Same with a leader of a household. The husband needs to listen to the feedback of his wife, sometimes even his children. Not saying that he has to listen to them, but just listen to the feedback so that he knows what's happening and he knows what needs to be done. It's definitely a good way of running a household, I think. Yeah, it's so sad. Someone said, don't ask people on the internet what the hell. I know. I don't know what she's doing. But it's because she's that lonely that she has nobody else to talk to. She said it herself. Like, she had a husband who she called for every win she was going through. And now she's got nothing and no one to go to. So she's going to the internet. Ex-wife cheated on me after 17 years, total midlife crisis. Okay, now I remarried a fantastic woman who is way better for me. Grass always looks greener on the other side. Exactly. But for you, you're a man, so you can remarry and you can find someone who's amazing and better. But with a woman who's that age, probably like 55, she looks about 55. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But it's not as easy. You're not going to find someone better at that age, because the one who was better was the one you met when you were younger, who you worked through things together and solved problems together and grew together. You're not going to find someone better at that age, because younger guys, chances are they're not going to want you. Yeah, Shane said she moved cities. She probably doesn't have her kids either. Yeah, exactly. Just, I mean, she probably has adult kids at this point, but still, she should focus on her children, because she's had children for a reason. You need to look after them and be around them and not try and start a new life at the age of 55. Who does that?
No, you already had a lovely home, and you decided to destroy it because of your own selfish desires. Guys, this woman decided to divorce her husband and leave the city where they lived for over 24 years, just so that she can be free to ride the cock carousel like it was 1999. In this next clip, she will demonstrate by herself how she is really from these streets by showing you how many sexual partners she had in less than 2 years after she left her husband.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I saw this message and I thought, you know what, that's fair. So I just thought I would recap, like, the ones that you don't have to worry about anymore. And then I'm like, don't know what this list says about me, but these people are they're not around anymore. So it doesn't matter. So I mean, I could create a spreadsheet, but this is who's remaining. I don't know, that's going to be backwards, but so Mars, Polo, and RV. So let's talk a little bit. So Mars I've actually been seeing since November of last year, and it's friends with benefits. Let's just be honest. He is attractive as all get out. He's younger. He's around 40. He's intelligent and lovely, and we see each other every couple of weeks. And I really, really like him. But that's what that is. So Polo, I started seeing a week and a half ago. He's a year older than me, so he's 56. Oh wait, I'm 56. We're the same age. I forgot I turned 56. And he's lovely, and I really enjoy spending time with him. It's only been a week and a half, so we're early days. So, and then RV, little disappointing this weekend. It was his birthday, and I had said, hey, if you want to get together, we can do something, even though we haven't really seen each other much in the last few weeks. So he's like starting to edge over to like this side. I'm not willing to give up on him yet, even though all my girlfriends just said, I don't want to hear about him anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to give up, but he's giving me no indication that he's at all interested. So
I'm not surprised. But this is such an attention-seeking thing to do. Who the hell wants to know about your sexual partners? You're 56 years old. Hey guys, I was right about 55 before, by the way. I'm just that good at guessing ages. But no, now you're 56 years old. You've just turned 56, you're saying. 56 years old, and you're doing this online, on social media, on TikTok. You're on TikTok telling people about your sexual partners. Your kids are probably watching this. You've got adult children. Your kids are watching this. And you're proudly airing your sexual partners that you've had since their dad. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting. Oh my gosh. This is what social media is doing to these people, guys. Women are literally deteriorating quickly. How can you be 56 doing this? This behavior is not for a 56-year-old. I mean, it's not for any woman, to be honest, but 56 years old and doing this is even more shocking. Oh, man. Someone said face palm. Yep. Damn, she's throwing it about in her 50s. How am I getting less action than this method? Lord, I know you're listening to my prayer. Please, 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 please don't let my future girl have TikTok. I don't want social media to take away from her sweet innocence. Aw, yeah, exactly. I mean, TikTok's not all bad if you use it to put the truth out there, which is what I do. Like on my TikTok, it's literally solely for putting information about the New World Order and the injection and things like that out. I don't post anything of like just content of me. But this is just sickening. And I can see that TikTok has had a negative effect on some women who are weak and do not, I'm going to use this phrase, do not know their worth, because there's knowing your worth in a negative way, which women are just using to their advantage so they can carry on sleeping around. And there's knowing your worth in a godly way, because God has created me to have a purpose, which is to be a mother. He uses me to spread a message, and I know my worth to the point where I will not sleep around with random men. But unfortunately, women are knowing their worth in the wrong way nowadays, in the wrong context, and they're using it in the opposite way to how they should be.
I'm kind of being anyways. So that's who's remaining. I'm not looking to add anybody. I'm off the apps.
You went from having a husband for 30 years who you loved truly, who you looked at as your best friend, who was a great dad, who helped you with household things, who was there whenever you needed someone to talk to, who filled a void that you now have because you're lonely, who filled that, who was there, who made you feel constantly attended to. You had that. You went from that to this, to a list of men that you sleep with, that you get used by for sexual gratification. How unfortunate is that? And you've done that to yourself, and you're proudly exhibiting that online on TikTok as a 56-year-old woman. Shocking.
Not looking to add anybody into the roster right now. I think we're good. So yeah, I hope that helps. I'm not quite sure what this says about me, but anyways.
I know what it says about you. It says you're a hoe, in my opinion. I don't use that word often, but I'm using it with you. And the thing is, she's posting this as if she's the one using the men. No, no, no. Don't get it twisted. You are being used by the men. They are using you, and you're in denial, and you believe that you are the one who's in control of this. But you're not. You're not in control of this. You're a desperate woman who's lost her husband because that was your choice. But you are definitely not the one using them. They are using you because they can see that you're desperate and weak because of the decision you've made, and you are opening your legs to them very easily. And literally, you think that you have these men on rotation, but actually you're part of their rotation.
That's where we're at. Okay.
That's embarrassing.
I'll have updates this week. Bye, everybody. I have a date with Polo tomorrow night. Okay, bye.
Ma'am, you asked what this list says about you. Well, this list reveals that you are 100% for the streets. As you guys can see right now on your screen how she decided to start going to the gym to work out so that she can look good for Chad and Tyrone. These modern women never put so much effort to look their best for their husbands when they are in their marriages.
Yeah.
But they sure do when they want to go have some fun in these streets.
Yeah.
I will now show you the real reason all these modern women divorce their husbands. They destroy their families just so that they can chase after Chad and Tyrone's validation. In this next clip, you will see the excitement of this woman talking about her Chad so that you guys can understand what I am talking about.
Okay. Mars. So we had messaged, I think we met on Tinder, and we had started messaging probably in October, and just flirtatious. Yeah, his nickname was Mars is because he has a job involving space and stuff like that. So anyways, it was just an easy nickname.
Making me
And
sick.
So around 40, attractive, mwah. And it was my first ever Friends with Benefits. And we met up for the first time in November. And consistently seeing each other until about just a few weeks ago. Anyways, I'll explain why. But man, if there was a way for a woman to feel desirable again, it is to it's to spend some time with somebody that, one, knows what they're doing, but then also just, I don't know, ladies, but mwah.
Ugh. Ugh. So gross. It's like watching my grandma talk about her sexual life. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now. This is disgusting. Basically, I now know why she left her husband. It's because he was not satisfying her sexually. That's why she left her husband. It's very clear from what she's talking about now. She is saying that she now feels that she has more worth. And she feels good about herself now and more confident because she's with a man who can perform like a younger man sexually. Unfortunately, when you're with someone for 30 years, you're not going to have that, electric spark that you had when you first met. It will decrease slightly. There are ways of bringing a spark back, though. You don't need to leave your marriage of 30 years and sleep with a younger guy who is, how old? 40 years old. She's 66, who's 16 years younger than you, to try and feel, if you feel that your worth is gained from sleeping with a younger guy, that's just sad. That says a lot about you, because you don't have self-worth. You don't know your worth. You may say you do, and you may use it as a reason for divorcing your husband, but you don't know your worth, because if your worth is gained from sleeping with younger men, that's embarrassing, and you should be embarrassed. You should not be posting about this online. Oh man, this is so gross. Grandma, don't talk about your sex life on TikTok.
He's great. And yeah, it was always the joke whenever I start dating somebody, it's like, it's important if they make me end it with Mars. Yeah, that good. On so many levels. And you know what, honestly, we would have great conversations as well. It wasn't just the physical. We would have fantastic conversations.
Of course.
And so, Mars. Yeah.
Now,
I'm so grossed out. Ugh, man. Disgusting. Okay. Mars causing all sorts of chaos. Old lady on a mad one. She is. This is sad. It is.
let's have a look at how she keeps on pursuing her Chad even after he dumps her.
So this message is very timely because I was actually just about to make a TikTok because I actually heard from him yesterday, and so we're hopefully getting together in the next couple of days. So I know I still have to bring you up to speed on everything and as to like why we stopped communicating about 6 weeks ago, but I heard from him Friday, and yeah, I think we're going to meet up in the next couple of days. So I will let you know.
Look at the excitement she has for someone that don't even give a about her.
You guys, I forgot to tell you, I saw Mars last weekend. I totally forgot to update you. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh, it's been such a crazy week. Yeah, we saw each other last weekend.
Are people really this invested in her sex life? Is this real?
It was lovely. So anyways, just wanted to update you on that.
Whether a modern woman is 18 or 55, they all act like teenagers most of the time. They react and make life-changing decisions by following their feelings. Remember that she even left her city so that she can go away to fulfill her need of being a 304. After all her debaucheries, she tries to come back to her city and cries after reality settle in. Let's watch.
So I'm still in the town where I had left when I left 2.5 years ago. It's been interesting. It's been melancholy in a sense that I came back, and as soon as people knew I was back, my phone blew up. And, you're just instantly surrounded by people who know and love you and know your story. And I saw my son, and I met his new girlfriend, and she's lovely. I've connected with my mom in that we've texted, but she's actually not in town. She's actually in the hospital in another city, which I just found out when I got here. And so that's still a work in progress, complicated. Those maternal relationships are so freaking complicated. So there's been a lot of tears while I've been here. Honestly, did I make the right choice of moving away from here where I had so much support to a city where I didn't have anybody? And I'm still trying to figure it out and make it home. And I mean, I definitely have friends and stuff in the new city, but yeah, you forget that it's not the same as where you left. I was here for 20 years, 24 years. So it's a process.
Guys, when you see older women who are single and complaining about how there is no good men left to date them, Do not feel sorry for them. They probably brought it on themselves like this woman. She had a family that loved her. She had a community that cared about her. She had friends that supported her. But what did she choose to do? She chose to leave everything and everyone behind just so that she can go chase Chad and Tyrone. My dear, you thought that you could do better than your husband? Well, you played yourself. Fellas, protect yourselves at all times and avoid these types of women like the plague. And above all, don't forget to keep your head up, focus on your goals, and everything else will follow. I love you and I appreciate you for all your support. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and
Sorry, there was a child wearing a mask and that makes me feel physically sick.
share to help push this content to more men in need. I'm out. Peace.
Oh my goodness, guys. I knew that our situation was bad, but again, every time I come here, I'm just like, I get more and more shocked. Because I'm like, I didn't realize it was that bad. I didn't realize there were 56-year-old women making videos like this about their weird sexual fetishes and relationships. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, okay. Kingdom's Kingdom 1985 says, this is so sad. You'd always hope they'd grow up. Yeah, it's crazy. She won't ever grow up past that mentally. I know. You can tell. You can just tell. That's her like that forever. She'll probably be 90 years old with a spreadsheet with her sexual partners on it. Someone said, that's what I'm thinking. She's got a whole audience. Probably support her in a negative way. Exactly. And this is what women do. They encourage each other to be sexually promiscuous and leave good men in order to be able to get with those men